Madam Speaker, and let me just start by saying that was leadership. That was bipartisan. That was good energy. That is what an MPI should be all about, Madam Speaker, from the member from Goyder. You know, we call him the shadow opposition leader, Madam Speaker, but he is the member for Goyder, and I look forward to working opposite him one day. Now, Madam Speaker, what Territorians are sick and tired of hearing, and they're hearing it multiple times this week in question time and now in this MPI, is the member for Daly, the Labor opposition, talking down the hard-working nurses, the obstetricians, the midwives, the doctors who work every single day to keep mums and bubs safe. Make up a point of order, mate. You can't handle the truth.
Could you take your seat, member for Goyder? What's your point of order, member?
Point of order 31. I find it quite disorderly that the member for Goyder has made a personal reflection on myself to say that what he was suggesting there, which is completely untrue, and I would ask for him to retract that. I did not come in here and say I did not support health workers. He's misleading the parliament. So understanding Order 31, it's disorderly because he's made a personal reflection on me, which is not true.
Can you stop talking, all of you? Look, in the scheme of things, I think that's a pretty light call for disorderly, but if you... Look, I started this week off on Tuesday morning by saying that there shouldn't be any personal imputation, so I take that on board. There was some personal imputations there, but I think generally the member for Goyder was attacking your debate. I'm not sure that it was overly personal, but if you've taken it personal, I suggest that you apologise and move on, member for Goyder, and put it to bed. Okay.
Madam Speaker, what Territorians are sick and tired of hearing is, instead of looking at the issues and attacking the actual problems, we spoke yesterday about the great man Terry Baldwin. There are no problems, only challenges and solutions. And Madam Speaker, those opposite keep trying to bring up the problems instead of working together and taking the leadership of the member for Goyder, who just said there he's going to work with his federal colleagues, and I do welcome that, Madam Speaker. Now, Madam Speaker, our hospitals are delivering. Quite literally, we're talking about maternity. Our nurses are delivering. Our midwives in the public health service are delivering. And this CLP government and our health minister are delivering. But what do we get from those opposite? Negative, doom, gloom. The member for Daly gets up and says, oh, this is above politics. I think he said it 3 or 4 times. Well, if it's above politics, stop playing politics, pick up the phone, call the member for Solomon, call the member for Lingari, call the Senator McCarthy and say get on with the job of funding the NT health system properly.
Stop the interjections, please.
Madam Speaker, he says it's not about sides, then spends half his speech personally attacking our great health minister, the member for Barkly. You can't call for unity in one breath and then throw mud in the next. That's not leadership, that's hypocrisy. And Madam Speaker, I want to say it again. We do have a federal Labor government that is underfunding the NT health system by the tune of over $350 million a year. That's $350 million, Madam Speaker. I know earlier this week you raised the important matter of investing in Alice Springs Hospital, and I back your calls for that, Madam Speaker, because I understand it is important to have that hospital there. I believe they deliver in the neighbourhood of 600 to 800 births a year in Alice Springs Hospital. And Madam Speaker, in the Royal Darwin Hospital, over 2,150 babies are born every single year. That's 2,150 babies, plus the 800 in Alice Springs, nearly 3,000 Territorians added every year, Madam Speaker. That's not collapse, that's capacity. That's not failure, that's strength. The Royal Darwin Hospital and Alice Springs Hospital are doing the heavy lifting. Unfortunately, the private system isn't working. Unfortunately, Healthscope's closure of the private maternity ward was not unique. In the past 8 years, 12 private hospitals across Australia have stopped delivering babies. That's in Cairns, that's in Bunbury, that's in Hobart at the same time as us. And why? Because private births have dropped. Costs have skyrocketed. Insurance has become unaffordable. And there's workforce shortages everywhere. We went from having, 1,000 births a year in the private hospital up here to 250, 260 births per year. That's not sustainable, Madam Speaker. But I see that less of a reflection of the private system not being adequate enough. I see it more as our NT public health service is good enough, Madam Speaker. It's good enough for 90% of births in the Territory, and I back those people that work at the hospital every single day doing a great job, instead of talking them down because the only option is a private birth. Now, Madam Speaker, when HealthScope stepped out, we stepped up. We didn't sit around and whinge and complain. What we did is we acted, Madam Speaker. We worked with NT Health, with private insurers, with doctors and midwives, and we delivered practical solutions. We created the Mackay Maternity Retreat, a private-styled recovery package for new mums, and while I have been praising the member for Goyder, I do want to clarify for the record that no births were taking place in the hospital, hotel, Madam Speaker. They were giving birth in the public hospital and then being taken for an aftercare package at the hotel. That's hotel stays, that's midwife visits, 24/7 phone support, everything they need to rest and recover. We have created the Return to Home Sooner package, Madam Speaker. Support at home, meals, cleaning and care for mother and baby. By October, 53 Territory families have already used these new packages. And you know what they said? They said thank you, Madam Speaker. They said the care was outstanding. They said the staff were professional. They said the midwives were incredible. And that's the difference between the CLP government and the Labor opposition. When the private sector bailed, we built a better model. And Madam Speaker, I want to thank all the midwives, nurses, obstetricians, doctors and everyone else involved in delivering babies in the Northern Territories and who works in our NT health system. Every single one of them. These are the people that are the backbone of this transition. They've worked double shifts 7 days a week, visiting homes, caring for mothers, supporting families. While Labor's been playing politics, they've been doing the real work. It would have been great to see the member for Daly reflect on that real work, Madam Speaker. They deserve our gratitude, not the garbage coming from those opposite. Our frontline heroes, I commend them. I thank them. Labor criticises their output. Labor talks them down. The member for Daly might not think they're doing a great job, but I do. And let's talk about why private hospitals are struggling federally, Madam Speaker. Let's talk about the federal Labor cost of living crisis.
Take your seat, please.
Again, Standing Order 31, disorderly words. I did not ever say I didn't think our healthcare workers were not doing a good job, and he's personally reflected on me. I did not say that once in my speech, and I ask for you to consider for him to withdraw that. I did not once say that. I value our health workers, just like all our members, just like I know all our members in this chamber do. So don't try and bring that into here for
Member
politics.
for Daly, you've made your point.
I'd ask you to withdraw.
It's far easier for you to withdraw.
I will withdraw.
Member for Goyder.
Madam Speaker, there's a saying about people who can love to dish it out and they can't take it. In general, Madam Speaker, I'm not referring to any member of this chamber, and that is a glass jaw, Madam Speaker, but I can take it. Now, Madam Speaker, let's talk about the federal cost of living crisis under the federal Labor government. Families can't afford private health cover anymore. The premiums go up, the excess is up, the out-of-pockets cost through the roof. Under federal Labor, people are paying more and getting less. So they're dropping private insurance, Madam Speaker, and that's driving private closures. It's not NT Health that caused this. It's not the Minister for Health who caused this. It's Labor's economic mismanagement. So when the member for Daly points his finger at us, he's pointing the wrong way. He should be pointing at Canberra, Madam Speaker. Our public system is not broken, it's strong and getting stronger. We've expanded the midwifery group practice. We've strengthened the home birth services. We're reviewing maternity models to keep them modern, safe and sustainable. In Alice, Catherine, Gove and for the bush, our hospitals and clinics keep delivering. We don't walk away from rural and remote families, we walk beside them. And before Labor gets back on its high horse, let's remind them of their record. The member for Goyder raised the point that you can't give birth in the Tennant Creek Hospital, Madam Speaker. And I know he wasn't in this chamber when they did it, but it was the Labor Party that closed the public maternity ward in Tennant Creek back in 2006. It was in 2006, Madam Speaker, 20 years ago. The Labor government at the time decided it wasn't worth having a hospital that can give birth at in Tennant Creek. So now Tennant Creek mothers and the mothers in the Barkly have to make the trip down the road down to the Alice Springs Hospital. That's Labor's legacy in regional maternity care. Closure, neglect and excuses. And now they've got the gall to lecture us. Shame. It is a shame job, Madam Speaker, the Leader of the Opposition's interjection. It is a shame job what the Labor Party did to the Territory 20 years ago. I do concur. Now, Madam Speaker...
Stop the interjections, please.
The state of maternity services in the Northern Territory is strong because our people are strong. Our workforce is strong and our government backs them every single day. We didn't walk away when HealthScope left, we stepped up. We didn't talk down our hospitals, we backed them. We didn't attack our midwives, doctors, obstetricians and say they're not doing enough in the NT health system, Madam Speaker. We praised them. And while Labor talks about being above politics and the member for Daly keeps dragging it back right into the gutter, personal attacks, political spin and endless negativity. If he really believes it's above politics, then he should get on the phone to his federal Labor colleagues and demand the funding our Territory health system deserves and that our Territory health system needs, Madam Speaker. Until then, we'll keep doing what we've always done, getting on with the job, backing our hospitals, backing our staff, backing Territorians and Territory families, because, Madam Speaker, when HealthScope stepped out, the CLP government stepped up, and that's the difference between us and them.